quality, remember.
Live.
Okay.
We are live, so please mute now if you're not speaking.
Yeah, if you're not speaking, please mute because we have already some people ordering pizza, I think. Okay, everybody mute, or I'm going to do it for you, and then you're going to be very quiet for the whole meeting. Hello, everybody. This is the 21st December 2015, and we have around 10 days left of the year. And this is the community meeting. We're back in full force, more or less, after a brief period of rest and relaxation following the Moslando week, where we got super duper active. Today we have quite a few people, so great to see everybody. Please put your name or link to your user profile in the notes. The note link has been posted on the SUMO channel, and it's the usual format, of course. Yeah. So it's on the public Etherpad there. We have quite a few things on the agenda. Feel free to keep updating the agenda as we go. I'm unfortunately phase muted today because, as I said, my connection is not the best. So I'll try to save it for my voice. We are going to go through the agenda, and we have some action items from last week to follow up on, and some round table items. So we're going to start with that. First of all, the main action item from last week was to summarize and share Moslando content and generally what was happening in Orlando. That's already 2 weeks ago. We're still working on this. Madalena is just back right now, and we have a lot of stuff to format and share with you. I work on some of the formatting and sharing, but we want to make it, we want to do it right the first time, so we don't want to make a big mess out of that and correct ourselves 15 times. So once we have it, it's going to be out probably this, maybe before Christmas. We'll try to do that. Other than that, we have some roundtable updates, and we have two things. First of all, there is a Firefox help Twitter account that we have no idea who owns at this stage. We'll do some investigation. Thank you for the people who noticed it, that this is actually happening. Thanks to Drum J Bell, I think that's the way I should pronounce it. And we're going to be investigating what's with the account. It may be a bit misleading. For now, remember that the main account for Firefox related support is simply @Firefox. That's it. So there are no other particular support accounts, and @sumo_Mozilla is not a support account at all. It's just to promote Sumo and to let people in the community know what we're doing. Okay, having said that, we also have a question from Swarnava about possible Sumo internships in 2016. And I think for now we have no details about it yet, because simply a bit too early for that. We have Lauren with us as part of the outreach program until March, and then we'll see what happens afterwards, because we have to figure out what's going to happen. But this is definitely a good point to bring up, and we'll definitely have some more details as we move into 2016. For now, I don't think we have anything, unless I'm terribly mistaken. You feel free to correct me, because maybe you have some information there that I don't. But I don't think you do. I'm not trying to say I know everything. Okay. So we are moving on to the agenda, and before we get through that, last minute big announcement time right now. So if you have any big announcements before we start going through the agenda, please say what you have to say right now before it's too late.
I don't know if this is an announcement. I just wanted to kind of let everyone know that I'll be basically completely revising, recreating everything. The the training guide to actually creating articles. So when we get new tech writers on board, we'll have something to go with.
Okay, so I think yeah, thanks for that. We're going to put it into the KB updates, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure if that was an update or an announcement or whatever.
No, I think it's big enough to know, like it's important enough for us to know up ahead. But definitely when we get to the knowledge base part, we're going to mention it again.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Okay, so let's move on. Let's move on to the agenda then. We don't have any contributors of the week, so unless you have any nominations right now, we're going to skip this. And again, I'm going to give people like 5 to 10 seconds to think about that. But well, I mean, I haven't been paying too much attention to what has been going on. I've been gone for 2 days of last week, so if I miss something terrible, terribly important, sorry, or like a terrible emergency and somebody saving the world and SUMO, do let us know right now. So I guess everyone is a contributor of the week. Okay, that sounds good. I mean, that's a good start. It can only get better. Everyone plus one later. Okay, for the SUMO development updates, Kadir, your turn.
All right. So December is generally not a very busy month for us, but we are finishing this week the final bug for the new Ask a Question flow, so we will be able to test that over the holidays, which is great. And then for the roadmap, I'm hoping that we will make some progress on the KPI dashboard piece for the contributor retention. Right now it's just Rayhan working on it, so that might slip into the next quarter, but that's what we're working on for at least the next week.
Okay, great. Any questions for Kadir? I have a question actually. The platform meeting is not happening this week, right?
No, we have canceled. Oh, actually, it's still on my calendar. That's weird.
I thought the next one was happening January 4th. Or
Yes.
I'm thinking something else.
No, that is true. That is what we actually decided to do.
Oh, I got it right.
Oh, sorry.
January 4th would be a Monday though, right?
Sorry, can you say it again?
I think Lauren said January 4th, and actually that's a Monday, so...
Yeah, I think they said they were going to have some sort of a meeting on January 4th, but I feel like I might be mixing something up with
January
something else.
7th.
January 7th, okay.
Yeah, I mixed it up here too. And I see, actually I did delete the invite for those who are getting the invite for this Thursday. So no platform meeting this Thursday because it's Christmas, so
Yeah.
there won't be too many participants anyway.
Okay, cool. So yeah, that's good to know, and thanks for clearing it up.
Next week is New Year, so...
I don't know why, but it's always Christmas and New Year's. What's going on?
Well, Christmas and New Year's always come on the same weekday because they're 7 days apart.
Yeah, right. I think there's some sort of a... It's selling it. Okay. Okay, thanks Kadir for the update. Then let's move on to Firefox Desktop. Mark, thank you for joining.
Hey, there's actually been a couple of issues in the past week with the Firefox 43 update. The LastPass issue, a lot of people complaining about LastPass not working. From what it looks like, about half of the people using that LastPass plugin, which would be close to 1 million people, had the plugin disabled when Firefox updated because they were using the LastPass desktop installer, which actually installs like LastPass for desktop and installs extensions into all of your browsers. And since that extension for Firefox was side-loaded, it wasn't signed, and it was disabled for being not a signed add-on. The fix is simply enough to just go and install the LastPass add-on from AMO. So you can just link users to that if they complain. LastPass is well aware of this issue because it's impacting a huge portion of their users, and they've sent out some communication about it already. So hopefully we should see that issue kind of dying down as people read their emails from LastPass and an update to the AMO-based add-on. And in the future, LastPass should be able to distribute their add-ons signed and side-loaded, especially now that we've changed some of our add-on signing process, which I'll talk about in a second. Other things going on with Firefox, there's a change in the way the URL bar autocompletes, which a lot of users are noticing, and some are complaining about There's no way to change it back to the old way, but users can completely disable searching from the URL bar, which is not news. You've been able to search the URL bar for the better part of a decade at least, I think. What has changed is that previously the URL bar would only do a web search if something the user typed was not a URL and did not match anything in their history, bookmarks, or anything like that. Any other things that it can search for within the browser. Now the functionality is, if it's not a URL, the default item in the URL bar is to do a web search. So if users are used to just typing in a word for their one of their bookmarks, or to go to a history item, instead of going to that first item that they're always used to, it's going to do a web search, which could be pretty annoying, I think. And the only fix at this time is to just disable searching from the URL bar altogether, which most users are probably going to be fine with if they want, if what they really want is to have the ability to search for the, remove a web search from the URL bar. Because if all they want is the ability to search things internal to the browser through the URL bar, then that's probably a fine solution for them. Hopefully we'll see a better solution on that in the future, like a switch to revert back to the old functionality. We'll see, though, that might not happen. There are some good reasons behind moving towards this. For those of you who were at Moslando, there's some talk about adding some extra search features to the URL bar to help it find more than just the things that it's finding now, bookmarks and those kinds of things. And so it's not likely that we're going to be like backpedaling on those changes and not letting people revert to the old way. I think there's probably a lot of changes coming to URL bar search over the next. So just be on the lookout for that stuff. What else? Oh, Firefox 64-bit. It's out. It's on the download all page. It's not being pushed on anybody. It doesn't appear on the default download page. You have to go to the all page and specifically download it. It does support Flash and Silverlight. There's no plans at this time, at least not publicly, to stop supporting either of those. If that happens, we'll talk about it well before it happens. It won't be like a, hey, this next release we're disabling. It'll be like, hey, we're disabling this 6 months from now, 3 months from now. All right, so the other thing I mentioned earlier was add-on signing. So add-on signing got a lot easier. There was a lot of developers upset about how long it was going to take to sign things and how long the review process was. And I think I touched on this last week, but essentially the new process is whether your add-on is being delivered through AMO or whether it's being side-loaded or whether it's being delivered through your own website, you can now get it signed instantly through the AMO signing, the signing process on AMO, which is detailed on MDN. And previously, if you were going to have your add-on side-loaded or installed through a website and not through AMO, you had to go through a much more rigorous review process. But now we've brought that same simple, automatic, practically instant, like it takes less than a second in most cases and only a few seconds in the worst cases, which is just for like very, very large add-ons in the like tens of megabytes, which is very large for a browser add-on. It might take 20 seconds or something tops. So that's great because the previously developers were looking at weeks to months. And so why this is relevant to SUMO is because this problem, like with the LastPass plugin, the side-loaded plugin not being signed, we shouldn't have that kind of thing in the future. Maybe still over the next month or two, but it should iron itself out, and we shouldn't have these kinds of problems probably after January. That's it as far as updates go for me for Firefox Desktop, but does anybody have any questions? I know I was basically uninvolved last week. I was kind of sick, so I haven't been on the community forums or anything, so if anybody has any questions, please speak up.
Yeah, I actually have some questions. I was going to address them in the support form section, but I think it's better if we do it now.
Sure.
So as far as we know, in 43 there is a preference that allows signature enforcement to be disabled in about config for add-ons. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Because we do have a lot of people complaining about their add-ons not working, and what we have been responding until now was basically to tell them to contact the developer to get the add-on through the process.
What I would say for that is the first thing to do is to check if there's a version of it on AMO that is signed, because there's a good chance that they just installed it from a developer's website or from sideloaded it somehow, and it wasn't the signed version, because that's the easiest solution. You know, there's just a click, and then it's just like 3 clicks, and then they have the signed version. If there isn't a signed version, yeah, I suppose you could tell them to do the override thing, but also tell them to contact the developer, because that's not going to be there forever. We are removing that.
Yeah, I think the question is whether we want to tell people to override to do the about config thing if they're not like very savvy, if they're not very technical, or we just want to tell this to people who seem more advanced. I'm inclined to.
I saw that discussion.
Yeah, I'm inclined
right?
to say that we can tell this to everybody with the mention that this is pretty complicated and you shouldn't do it if you don't really know how to do it, and just contact your developer. But I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I would say if they, I would offer the contact the developer first, and then if they push back after that, at that point you can offer them the here's the code to go ahead and turn it on, with the caveat that, you know, this is an advanced troubleshooting technique, stuff like that.
Perhaps it would be helpful to have a post on the community forums about the process here. I think first thing to do is to see if there is a signed version of the add-on, because that's the easiest solution for the user, and they don't have to contact anybody or do anything. Anybody can do that. Next thing, and then I wouldn't tell the user to go see if there's a signed add-on. I would look one up yourself, especially since you know, we're more expert than the users, and we know where to find these things. Look for a signed add-on. If there isn't one, try to find the developer's contact information or website and give that to the user in the comment and say, contact the developer. If they push back on that and say they already did, or if they say, just fix my problem or something like that, then sure, tell them about the about config thing, but make sure you mention the caveats, which are that it's going to stop working at some point in the future, maybe a month from now, maybe 3 months from now. It's not going to be final solution. So even if they use that, they should contact the developer, or look for an alternative add-on, perhaps. That is always an option. You can suggest alternatives that are assigned, especially if an add-on the user is using is old and not updated or maintained. That's basically the process. If a user is really doesn't seem technically inclined and able to do the about config thing, if you want, you could go ahead and contact the developer for them and link them to the SUMO thread even. That would be fine. I think that's a good process for going about that, and we can get a post about this stuff on the community forums.
Yeah, that sounds good. We'll post this up for everybody to see.
Any other questions about Firefox Desktop from anyone? Anyone on SUMO who's...
I think in the interest of time, we're going to move on because we have like 5 minutes. This was super informative. So thank you very much. No, this is seriously, this is something we definitely need to know, and this is it's great to get straight from you. If anybody has any follow-up questions or wants more details or has anything super burning about Firefox, do get in touch with Mark. He's super available. Like, you know,
or go to the SUMO IRC channel. I'm there. We're all there.
Yep.
I'll watch it after this meeting.
And I would just like to say for Firefox or Android, we have not yet implemented signed add-on, mandatory signed add-on with that preference. We are planning on implementing that either in 44 or 45, so we will have the same issues in Android. However, the usage of add-ons is smaller on Android, but it's still not insignificant.
Okay, so let's move on then to Firefox for Android and for iOS in general.
Hello, hello. I'd like to thank our iOS and Android volunteers for our 2015 awesomeness. Android has been great this year. We're on an upwards trajectory, and that's in no small part due to our volunteers helping at support forums, helping localize KB articles, helping write KB articles, all the great things that we do together. So we released Firefox for Android 43 last Tuesday, and again, there is no mandatory enforced signed add-ons in this Firefox for Android release, unlike desktop, but we hopefully will happen in 44 or 45. Speaking of 44, at Moslando, we met with Saburo and a whole bunch of people, and they asked, they wanted more, meaningful updates. So I feel that what I'm going to try to do now is post the next release at Beta 1. So it is now Beta 1 Firefox for Android 44. So I've posted the thread as a work in progress on our contributor forum thread, what's coming up for volunteers. There isn't much in 44. Perhaps we will have that pref mandatory signed add-ons. We will have, I don't know, if you look at the thread, there's a whole bunch of things, but nothing big. MMS support, printing to Android, cloud printing, not a lot of stuff, but just sort of tweaks and improvements. So that's it for Android. Does anyone have any questions?
Hey, Roland?
Yes.
For the print to cloud, is that going to be an add-on, or is that going to be a settings?
No, that is a part of the Firefox for Android 44 release. And it is from if you go to the Firefox settings and then pages, and then I believe there's a print page, and it prints to Google Print Service.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it's new. And I've never actually tried this, but I have verified that in Firefox 44 Beta 1 for Android, it is there. I don't know if it actually works. I'm assuming it works. We have QA, right? But I will try it myself, of course, as I try all beta features.
Awesome.
Firefox for iOS, I mean, we could not have done it this year without you folks. I mean, was a very challenging rollout of Firefox for iOS 1.0, and then the global launch of 1.1 because we were not able to disclose launch dates, except to our NDA volunteers, and our NDA and non-NDA volunteers came to our rescue and helped us a lot in our launch locales. Thank you very much. We're still awaiting the launch of Firefox iOS 1.3 approval from Apple. We were hoping to get that in before the end of the year. I'm not sure if that is going to happen. But it has some features. If you look in the roadmap, the link that I put there, if those features are correct. Third-party password manager would be significant if we can get that in. I don't think request desktop site is in. I think that is showing up on the public roadmap, but I think for 1.3, I think it will actually be in Firefox for iOS 2 in the new year. Any questions on iOS?
Okay.
Doesn't seem to be the case. Thank you very, very much, Roland. Looking forward to more stuff next year. And we're moving on to the knowledge base. So, Lauren, just to confirm, you're going to rework all the article and content creation material for new contributors so people have
yeah, I'm going to be completely reworking the whole, the training document where it's like where they train new technical writers to write articles. I'll be completely redoing that, so over the next few months.
Okay, perfect, great. That sounds cool.
Yeah, so hopefully that'll help a lot of people.
But retaining the awesomeness that was inherent in the previous versions. Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, part of me wants to be like, I wasn't there when the previous version was made, but I'll hopefully retain the awesomeness still.
Oh, I'm sure you will. I mean, like, you can always improve teaching, right?
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
teaching, education, tutoring.
Okay, cool. Any questions to Lauren about this? Okay, I'm pretty sure we're going to have more questions once you get started because people are going to be really curious
Probably
about
more
things
questions than anybody.
happening.
Of course,
Okay,
we don't
thank you very
actually
much.
give you questions
And
until you actually write something.
precisely. Now we're moving on to Elton N, which is going to be delivered by Madalena. No, I'm joking. It's going to be me. So I just have one update from the Taipei meeting, which happened recently. We had 20 attendees, so 100% attendance. 8 new people to SUMO, so they've been Mozillans, or they knew about Mozilla, but they haven't done anything around SUMO, and they just appeared out of nowhere there in Taipei, thanks to Ernest and Peter, who were the organizers. We have 33 articles reworked by 18 translators into reviewers within the 4 hours of the event. There was 1 hour saved for dinner. So there was, of course, some fraternizing as well. It was really cool to have some community building there. Yeah, on December 19th, which was the day of the event, yeah, there were over 67 editions. Really, really cool event, a short one, and I think this is a very good model for us to follow if we are able to copy that. Simply get a bunch of people in one place, make them do something fun or have food together and just, meet each other, and then have them sit down for a very focused short period of time, 4 hours, and then see how far they can get. Really cool to have this event happening, and there will be more similar events hopefully coming soon in the future. We'll let you know how this goes. Any questions about this?
When was it? I'm a little confused.
19th of December, sorry, 19th of December. I should add the date in front.
These people couldn't have been in Orlando if then they were in Taipei.
Yeah, no, that was happening 2 days ago, so.
Or wait, is Taipei where there's an office?
Yep.
There's a mosque
Gotcha.
there, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I got you now. For a second, I thought maybe there was like an event, like in a almost like similar to Mozilla.
No, all those cool stickers and all the chopsticks and everything that was in Moslando, that was the same people, I guess, more or less. But yeah,
Okay.
there's also quite a big community there in Taipei. So that's one of the coolest communities we have around. So huge kudos to those people. And we're moving on to the support forum. Madalena, welcome back.
Thank you. So not much happening since I was away for the last week. The only thing that I had was what I have already discussed with Mark about how to address the questions around signed add-ons on the forums. So there's a process now that I'm going to put up on the contributor forums for everybody to see. And yeah, we'll take it from there. And it's good to be back.
Any questions? Okay, no questions. We're moving on, speeding up and whatnot. Some community updates. First of all, there was an event. We only got the update recently from. Abdekar, that's his name. So there was an event in Ivory Coast, and it happened in Abidjan, which is the capital. More than 50 people came over. It was generally a big Mozilla-rated event. It was all about Mozilla. It had an introduction to SUMO. It had a presentation of the people who are contributing to SUMO right now. There's 5 people contributing to SUMO in Ivory Coast. And then they also had creating their accounts and working on Twitter and localization. So I don't have the particular numbers for this yet because I didn't pull them, but again, this is an event organized by the local community on basically that just coordinated with us. It was all about SUMO, like there was a big segment, sorry, about SUMO. There was also part about Mozilla for people who were just curious about Mozilla doing stuff. And I think this is another great example of how anybody in the community, without even prior like arrival to this meeting, for example, like you don't have to be in those meetings here, or you don't have to be active in the support forums to do something really cool. So if you have any ideas, do let us know. We'll help you out in any way we can. I will have more numbers from the Ivory Coast meeting as well, because this is just the beginning of our collaboration with Abakar and his group of Mozillians there. but the Ivory Coast community for Mozilla is apparently very big and very active, so we're going to try and see how we can make SUMO even more popular over there. Any questions about this one? Okay, so then the Bangladesh update is we have a plan for an event, a mentoring day for SUMO contributors in Dhaka. There's an Etherpad there. I'm going to work on this with Ashikur to make sure that it gets figured out exactly how it's going to look and what's going to happen during that particular day. More details again as we get them, and again looking forward to a good event by a very established community. I mean, the SUMO people in Bangladesh have been around for a long time, and they're a very vibrant and active group. So one of our exemplary groups of people just doing really cool stuff. And that's about it for the Bangladesh update. It's very short, but I thought it would be interesting to point out to everybody if you're curious if anything's going up there. And just a note from me, the regular Friday SUMO blog posts will be back in 2016 because simply things get in the way with scheduling and so on, and I'm not updating many people for the blog posts right now, but there will be 2 more blog posts. One of them will be about Moslando before the end of this year, I mean. So one of them will be about Moslando, and the other one is going to be a summary blog post for 2015 and kind of a look ahead into 2016. So expect these 2 things definitely happening. Other than that, like the regular summarizing posts are going to be back next year only, which is in 11 days anyway. So I think you can manage without them for a while. Okay. Any questions about the community section? Okay, if not, we have a help request from Rachel.
Thanks, Desper. So hey everybody, this is Rachel from the help desk, also known as Gwigs on the forums and in IRC. This quarter, I was doing some research around trigger action rewards around online communities. There were a couple of examples that were posted in that thread there. All suggestions and feedback are totally welcome. In conclusion of it, a survey was created out of some of the assumptions that were made from observations in other forums. I'd invite you to take a look at that survey. If it's completely bogus, then tell me about it. I'll change it. We'll make it happen. These are some of the assumptions that were made in order to fill the void of a trigger action reward. That's explained a little bit on what that is in that survey. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Love to find out what keeps you in the forums and what you might like to see in online to make it more awesome, to maintain and keep making it an awesome online community. So, thanks.
Awesome, thank you, Rachel. That's cool. We should be slowly wrapping up because everybody's dropping out to different meetings and so on. So just a very quick update about the availability of everybody on the team. There will be a Thursday and Friday break because Christmas in the Western world. There will be an end-of-year break for all the people following a particular calendar that we usually follow. So Friday next week is off. And then we have round out on Monday and Thursday. So generally he's just reiterating that some of us will not be around. It's usually the end of the year is quite choppy when it comes to attendance and availability, but don't worry about that. We're going to be back restored, relaxed, and with a new calendar in 2016. So that's going to be quite exciting. We will have to learn how to write 2016. I'm already looking forward to that. Okay, so with that, I think it's safe to say that we should totally end the meeting right now. Thank you everybody for coming over and sharing your updates and asking questions and being here. Looking forward to the meeting next week, which is definitely happening. And see you around.
Okay, bye. Merry Christmas.
Take care. Merry Christmas. Or as they say, bonus festus.